Okay, so we already kind of talked about the effects of A. I'm going to just show you this graph. So what we're going to do now is we're going to actually graph some quadratics ourselves. So the weird thing about this graph is it's hard to see the X and Y axis. So do you see the numbers are written across? This line right above right here is actually the X axis. That's pretty straight actually for me. And then this line to the right hand side of these numbers, that's the Y axis. So in this, it says we're going to use a graphing calculator and graph, and we're going to sketch the graphs. So I'm going to start with blue because that's the color my calculator starts with. And so I'm going to go to y equals, and I'm going to clear y2 and leave y1 because it just so happens that the first thing it tells me to graph is y equals x squared. So we can type that in and we can go to graph and we're like, there it is. But how do I actually get that onto my graph and make it perfect? So what you can do is you can click second table. And it gives me a table of values, which are little ordered pairs that we can type in or like draw in. So the first one is 0, 0. The next one is 1, 1. The next one is 2, 4. The next one is 3, 9. The next one's 4, 16, but it's not going to fit on my graph. So does this look like my calculator screen looked?
Yes.
Half of it, right? So on my calculator screen, I could scroll up and get the negatives. What do you notice about these numbers? They're all the same because we already kind of looked at the fact that parabolas mirror. So what you can do is you can just mirror the points onto the other side. So when you draw a parabola, you're not going to make it like a straight line because it's not a V, it's a U. So you just try to kind of connect the dots as well as you can. And just know it's going to keep going up and up forever. And because I can't see the top, I'm just going to say this is y equals x squared. I'm doing that one in blue. Now we're going to look at y equals negative x squared. So we're going to go on our calculator. And we're going to go to y equals. And on y2, we're going to put negative x squared. So I can click graph and I notice it looks exactly like the blue line except it's flipped. It's opening downward this time. It's reflected across the x-axis. So to get my ordered pairs, I go second table. Little tiny green button or gray button at the top. So I know it's going to be 0, 0. 1, negative 1. 2, negative 4. 3, negative 9. Then I can't fit the rest on my graph, but I can go the other side and just mirror it. Then you're going to do your best to draw a kind of smooth line that should make your parabola. And by line, I don't really mean line. It makes a U. So that is y equals negative x squared. So over here on the left-hand side of your paper, I want you to make yourself a note. Negative A opens downward. So we'll do one more on here. We'll do the y equals 2x squared. And I'm going to use black. You can use whatever color you want. So to get my ordered pairs, I'm going to go on my calculator and I'm going to go to y equals, and I'll go down to number 3 and I'm going to type in 2x squared. And so we should know that having that 2 in front should make it vertically stretched or skinnier. So I look on the graph and it's true, it got skinnier. To see the actual ordered pairs though, I'm going to go second table. So I'm looking way over here at the black, so it would be 0, 0. So I can go graph 0, 0. 1, 2. 2, 8. Is that correct? Yes? And then 3, 18. So we can't really fit that one. So then we're going to mirror on the other side. And we're going to do our best to draw a parabola there. So I want you to make yourself a note. An A that's greater than 1 makes it skinnier. I don't know if that's how you spell skinnier. If we have an A that's greater than 0 but less than 1, so it would be like a fractional amount that's less than 1, it's going to make it fatter. Then when you're finished with that, we're going to turn this on the back. So that was about the A value. So the A affects how it opens. If it's positive, it opens up. If it's negative, it opens down. If the number in front is a number like 2, it's going to make it skinnier. If it's a number like 1/2, it's going to make it fatter. On the other side, we have some different equations. Our first equation is the same, y equals x squared. So I'm going to go back with blue, because that's what our calculator uses. And I'm just going to do the parent quadratic function. So I know it goes through 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4, 3, 9. So we're on the back. Then I know it mirrors on the other side. So that is the parent function. So next it asks us to do y equals x squared plus 4. So I'm going to use our calculator again. So we'll go to y equals, and I'm going to clear out number 2 and number 3. So number 2, I'm going to put in x squared plus 4. And so since the front is not affected at all, I know it's going to be the same width or steepness, but since it has plus 4 on the back, I know that the whole parabola moves up 4 spaces. So if I look at my table of values, I'm looking at the red ones here, I would get 0, 4, 1, 5, is it 2, 8?
Yes.
And 3, 13. And then I'm going to mirror it on the other side. So it doesn't get fatter or skinnier, it stays the same distance, just the whole parabola moved up. So over here on the side, we're going to say positive C moves up. So we're going to do one more, and I'm going to make this one black. We're going to do y equals x squared minus 4. So I'm going to use my calculator. I'm going to go to y equals, go to number 3, and I'm going to do x squared minus 4. Then when I graph it, I see that my entire parabola moved down to 4, so I can go to my table and get my ordered pairs. So it would be 0, negative 4. 1, negative 3. 2, 0. And 3 what? 5. And I could fit some more, but I'm not going to. And then I'm going to mirror it over here. So it kind of looks like the front of the boat, or maybe like a layered necklace or something. Over here, we're going to say negative C moves down. Then the last thing we're going to do is answer these 2 questions together at the bottom. In general, what effects do different values of A have on a graph of y equals ax squared? So we said this on the front page actually. So the number in front affects the y-intercept? So on the front of this, what did we say on the front? What did we say that A affects?
Negative.
If it's positive or negative.
And it's greater than 1.
So if it's a positive A, it opens upward. If it's a negative A, it opens downward. So it affects whether it opens upward or downward. And then if it's a big number in front, like 2, 3, 4, 5, what kind is it going to have?
Greater than 1.
So then it's going to be skinnier. Or vertically stretched is what that's called. If the A is a fraction, like 1/2, so if it's in between 0 and 1, so like 1/2, 1/4, any fraction in between there, it's going to get wider or fatter. Okay, so then that A value, the number in front, affects that. The C value that we just did affects
The moves up or down.
whether it moves up or down. So C moves the parabola up or down. So it is going to affect the y-intercept.